Lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep occurs when your expenditures increase to precisely equal each rise you receive. You earn more. Despite having money, you're still broke at each month's end. It occurs all over bonuses, promotions, and new occupations. The income increases in a discrete manner. Everything else does the same invisibly. It feels like a reward at first. You put in work hard. You deserve it because you earned more better. Perhaps it begins modestly. A more pleasant apartment. A plan with faster internet. Dining out twice a week as opposed to just once. Every update seems warranted. Rational, as if you're at last living the life you were meant to lead. This is progress, your brain tells you. You're advancing. The raise then lands on your account, and it disappears in a few of weeks. The rent has gone up. The vehicle payment is larger as a result of your trade up. You forgot about Pull 20 subscriptions. 15 there, 15 here. The cost of groceries doubled since you now purchase the quality items. Not one tiny of it seems unnecessary. Everything feels typical. However, this is what really occurred. Your way of life grew to spend every dollar that is available. You're not saving more money. Your investment isn't increasing. Simply put, you're spending more to experience the same. The difference between your income and what you maintain remains the same or becomes smaller. Spending isn't the trap. It is the idea that higher income equates to greater liberty. However, freedom can only be found in the difference between income and expenses. Lifestyle creep fills that void entirely. You continue to earn more, but in reality, you never succeed. You simply get more at ease with being broke. The vehicle payment tracker. Pay. The treadmill of auto payments. The treadmill of auto payments is when you trade in your vehicle every couple of years to obtain a reduced amount each month, but you never truly possess anything. You're constantly paying, always in debt, and always caught in the cycle. The dealership is where it all begins. Your present vehicle functions well. The new debt is rolled over from the old one. You're still in debt for an automobile you don't own, now owe considerably more than you did before. On the most recent one, the money is dropped, since they extend the loan from 5 to 7 years. Each of you is paying less each month, but making a lengthier payment as well as the entire cost erupts. After 3 years, you repeat. Another exchange, another longer loan with a smaller payment. Every time the clock is restarted. The car is worth less than what you owe. That discrepancy between your debt and its value? It's referred to as being upside down, and it's drowning you. The cycle never ends since you didn't let it to. You continue to, seeking less compensation rather than possession. In the meantime, a buyer once, and it has continued to drive for many years. You believe that you're improving. You're only renting, really. With worse terms and more steps. The illusion of the minimum payment. Illusion of a minimal payment. The bare minimum. When credit cards are used, payment illusion occurs. Permit you to make small monthly payments. As interest subtly increases your debt for many years, you believe that you're controlling it. In fact, you're feeding it. The statement is sent out each month. You have $3,000 to pay, but the bare minimum is just $60. That seems doable, inexpensive, and secure. You pay the $60 and proceed with your life. The card issuer grins. This is what's taking place behind the display. The majority of that $60 goes toward directly to your interest rather than your real debt. Perhaps $10 touches the balance you owe. The others disappear into the bank's pocket. Interest increases next month on the entire sum once more. Your equilibrium hardly moves. That $3,000 at this rate, it will take more than 12 years to pay off the loan. In the end, you'll pay close to $6,000. Twice, and only if you don't ever utilize the card once more, as the majority do. The trap is effective since $60 feels not harmful. Your mind recognizes a number that can afford and ceases to consider the
underneath the math. In the meanwhile, compound. In the backdrop, interest is subtly there, accumulating debt when you're asleep.
Credit card companies create a minimum payments made especially to maintain your payment forever. They aren't assisting you in managing debt. They're taking advantage of your future earnings, one tiny installment at a time. You believe that the bare minimum is sufficient. It truly means infinite. Home, poor house. When you purchase the most expensive home, once the bank gives its approval, spend all dollar you make simply by holding on to it. You are the owner of the address, but you are owned by the address. After calculating the numbers, the bank says you be eligible for $400,000. That sounds similar to authorization, such as evidence that you can afford it. Thus, you purchase at the peak of your budget, perhaps even make a little adjustment greater. The mortgage is a fair fit, and you persuade yourself that everything else will work out. Then reality sets in. The loan consumes 50% of your earnings. Property taxes arrive on time. Insurance for homeowners is more than you anticipated. The air conditioner passes away in July. The roof has to be fixed. The lawns require maintenance. Each month brings an additional bill that you failed to budget for due to the fact that the bank only determined the mortgage, but the accompanying life didn't. You are no longer able to go out. Holidays vanish. Savings halt. One broken appliance becomes a problem since the budget has run out of space. All you're doing is working to keep the lights on in a home that is meant to symbolize achievement. The bank gave you approval for the highest amount you are able to pay, not the greatest amount you ought to pay. They benefit from the largest loan conceivable. You are the one who must live with that choice for 30 years. You desired a house. What you received was a stunning financial jail. Although the walls are lovely, you are unable to build, breathe, or depart an existence outside of upholding the framework. Ownership isn't that. That's a cost. The whole life insurance fraud. The entire fraud, including life insurance. Complete when you pay a lot of money for life insurance payments for insurance that is meant to create cash value in the same way as an investment, but essentially only benefits salespeople while your money is growing while being trapped slowly. The pitch is perfect. You obtain perpetual life insurance. Additionally, it creates funds that you can take out against. Two goods in one. The representative refers to it as forced savings. Clever preparation, a strategy to protect your family and create riches. When you sign up, you believe you've made a mature, responsible choice. This is how your money is handled. An enormous portion commissions from each payment and charges. First, the agent is compensated. Sexily, what remains is split between the true cost of insurance and a cash value account that increases by perhaps about 3% annually, maybe less. You may have purchased term in the interim, a tenth of the cost of life insurance, and use the difference to fund a basic index fund with an annual return of 8 to 10%. After 20 years, that distinction turns into tens of thousands of dollars. Your whole life policies generate around $30,000 in monetary worth. It's a harsh math problem. Even worse, if you attempt to obtain that amount in cash, you must take out a loan against your own funds and make interest payments. Should you pass away, the cash value is retained by the insurance company, only the death benefit is paid. You've been making payments to an account you will never complete access. Insurance for whole life isn't a defense. It is a transfer of wealth from disguised you to the insurance company as budgeting, covering the cost of convenience costs. Ease. Convenience costs are how little daily shortcuts waste dollars annually from your account without your knowledge. Delivery costs, premium upgrades, and subscription services. They're all almost free. Collectively, they are really expensive. It begins naively. After work, you're exhausted, so instead of preparing dinner, you order it. $7 service charge, delivery cost, plus advice. $15 more just to stay away from the stove. 1 week turns into 2, then 3. That's more than $2,000 in fees annually by itself. The subscriptions follow. Streaming services that you hardly ever use. Apps with high-end features that you've never used. Cloud storage for forgotten files.
pertaining to gym memberships for equipment collecting dust. Each one costs just $10 or $15 per month, completely realistic, with the exception of 12 of them are stealthily running in the backdrop. Include expedited shipping because it seems difficult to wait 3 days. Upgrade to an unlimited phone plan, info that is unnecessary. Purchase pre-cut veggies since it takes time to cut them. Parking near the entrance costs money. Each option exchanges money for slight comfort. The calculations are astounding. $12 there, $5 here. When the year is over, these invisible comforts have drawn $4,000 to $6,000 from your earnings, funds that may have saved money, paid off debt, or provided funding for something that truly was important. Convenience is not a bad thing. However, convenience bleeds you by default. Dry. Every minor decision seems innocuous because repetition conceals harm. You're not buying comfort, you're renting it indefinitely at compound interest. Maintain appearances, which is promoting a middle-class image by obligation to demonstrate achievement to those who don't genuinely give a damn about you. Fresh attire for formal occasions, elegant dinners to you can't afford uploaded on the internet. It was all borrowed, against a future that you are ruining. It begins with a comparison. Your coworker purchased a new timepiece. Your neighbor renovated their kitchen. The friend of yours displayed another vacation to Europe. All of a sudden, your existence seems less amazing. To show, you must catch up. You're performing equally well. Thus, you spend. The credit card is produced. Designer handbags are used to express taste. Supper at the pricey eatery, so individuals see you there. A trip package.
Funded for a full year because everyone else is on the road. Everyone else is on the road. Every purchase isn't for you. It's for the viewers, actual or imagined, which you believe is maintaining score. This is the reality. No one acknowledges. They're not observing. They're too occupied funding their own visibility to attract yours. The watch-wielding coworker is drowning in bills. The neighbor, they reorganized their home. The friend of yours, 3 cards were maxed out on the trip to Europe. Everyone is pretending to be someone else. Everything else is real. In the meantime, the debt heaps up. Interest is being paid on things and events you didn't like. You didn't require it. To make an impression on others, who the following day forgot about it. You believe you're gaining prestige. Actually, you're purchasing strangers' approval, utilizing funds that you will have to pay for decades back. The cost of success appearance, genuine achievement, and no one's even the emergency-free delusion, searching, the free fantasy of emergency. The free delusion of emergency is alive, living paycheck to paycheck and assuming nothing will ever break, become ill, or disappear. Incorrect. No backup, no saves buffer. Strategy. Only have confidence that life will remain flawlessly smooth indefinitely. Each and every before it arrives, $1 is assigned. Bills, subscriptions, food, rent, repayment of debt. The budget is balanced flawlessly, provided that nothing unforeseen occurs, and you persuade yourself nothing will. The vehicle will continue to run. Your well-being will endure. The water heater will endure. Everything will work out. Next, reality sets in. The gearbox malfunctions. Your tooth needs a crown since it has cracked. The cab top dies just before work. Due date. The dog requires immediate care. Surgery. Then all of a sudden you need $800, $1,500, followed by $3,000. Not having any money since you didn't construct a cushion, therefore the credit card is pulled out. What ought to have been an inconvenience becomes debt with curiosity. An emergency becomes years' worth of payments. Additionally, because you're continuing to make ends meet, the next emergency follows suit. The cycle substances. Financial experts say reserve 3 to 6 months worth of expenditure preserved.
The average person has less than $400. The discrepancy between what ought to be and what is where catastrophes reside. The illusion isn't that crises could occur, it's believing that you are the exception, you're lucky, because your car is different, will maintain that in some way, not everyone, otherwise your life will continue to be predictable and silky. Emergencies happen frequently, they're assured. Living without saving money does not imply optimism. It indicates that you are just one collapse away from financial implosion on a daily basis. Addiction to retail therapy. Addiction to retail therapy is using shopping as a way to control emotions, taking on debt to address issues that spending that was initially generated. You buy something because you feel bad. It works for 1 hour. Then the debt and guilt make you feel worse, leading you to repurchase. It begins as a reward. Having a rough day at work, give yourself a pleasure. You had a stressful week, merit new shoes. Tension in relationships, shopping a little bit helps you deal. The purchase gives you a dopamine rush.
For a minute, you feel better, more successful, in command. However, the emotion quickly wanes. Dopamine is depleted, leaving you with the same issues in addition to a fee on your card. However, guilt is now present as well. Embarrassment over spending, worry over the equilibrium. Thus, your brain is frantic for relief, offers the same remedy. Purchase something different. The cycle is repeated. Everyone buying makes the hole bigger. The card balance increases. The closet contains items you don't need and scarcely usage. You're spending cash on spending doesn't have to make you feel better. You didn't have any money. The actual debt turns into the cause of your tension. Shopping as a means to escape. Retailers are aware of this pattern. Flash sales, limited time deals, and bargains. Everything intended to set off emotion and urgency. Purchase today, feel better later. However, later always arrives. Buying isn't the answer to your issues. It's turning into an issue while passing itself off as the remedy. You believe that you're rewarding yourself. Actually, you're using goods as medicine and paying interest on short-term assistance. The bill arrives long after the dopamine is released. The postponement of retirement. Gone. Delays in retiring. The postponement of retirement. Invest in retirement funds when you earn extra cash. Observing compound interest disappear forever. You tell yourself you'll begin after the raise the following year, until everything is calmed down. In the meanwhile, the most effective years for accumulating wealth disappear without a word. Compound interest is effective through time rather than effort. $1 invested at age 25, it increases tremendously compared to $1 invested at 40. Store $200 per month at age 25 and age 65, assuming you have more than $500,000 average profits. At 40, begin using the tax on loyalty. The brand loyalty tax is being paid. Upscale costs for names and emblems that signal condition while being the same. Alternatives are half as expensive. You're not purchasing higher quality products, you're purchasing the sensation of belonging to the brand, and that sensation is accompanied by an enormous markup. Enter any store and the pattern keeps happening. Cereal, by name brand, $6. Shop brand that is same, the cost of ingredients is $3. High-end jeans run $150. Almost the same denim without the label was $30. Superior cleaning goods that cost twice as much. Active ingredients in the generic form seated directly beside them. The performance isn't the difference. Ignorance is repeatedly demonstrated by tests, individuals unable to distinguish between store and name brands during tasting testing. The active components and drugs are the same in law. The number of threads in store brand towels comparable to the more costly ones. What you're spending money on is packaging, marketing, and the emblem. Businesses spend billions, giving you the impression that their version is unique, excellent, and well worth the additional expense. They employ famous people, make emotional advertisements, create a persona around their goods. You begin to think the brand makes a statement about you. That decision, it indicates that you have standards, taste, achievement. However, the cost of the premium doesn't enter quality. It enters promoting to persuade the next individual to pay too much.
The machine is being funded by you that deceives you, then spending more for the honor. Generic functions the same, it just doesn't evoke feelings of unique, and that sensation, that little jolt of prestige, cost you tens of thousands of dollars during a lifetime. You're not faithful to quality. You're devoted to someone's narrative, sold you on yourself. The side business trap. The trap of side hustles is effective. The trap of side hustling instead of working 2 jobs to support a lifestyle of adjusting expenditures and exchanging time for short-term respite while the actual issue remains unaddressed. You're burned out, weary, and still broke while the symptom is being treated rather than the illness. It begins when the budget ceases to function. Additionally, there is month at the end of the fiscal year, so rather than reducing spending, you choose to make more money. Take a ride-sharing vehicle, do weekend freelancing work, and sell goods, deliver food at night and online. The funds helps momentarily, but this is what really occurs. The additional revenue pays for the excessive expenditure, but you never deal with the cause you're spending too much. The way of life that necessary additional effort remains precisely the same. Even worse, the excess cash frequently increases the amount of money you spend. You're putting in 60 hours a week, so you're worthy of cakeaway. You pay for it because you're exhausted, for ease. The revenue from the side business disappears into the same gaps that your primary source of income. In the meanwhile, you're worn out. No energy, no time for family, for well-being. Sleep is negatively impacted. Anxiety climbs. You are exerting yourself to keep spending at a level that shouldn't exist at all. The auxiliary work becomes irreversible because the expenditure never becomes smaller. Reducing spending by $500 provides you with $500 per month indefinitely. To make an additional $500, you must consistently work, perseverance, and sacrifice time. One resolves the problem, whereas the other just drives through it. Side projects aren't bad, but utilizing them to keep your spending is similar to using a treadmill to outrun your shadow. You're able to hustle forever without ever succeeding.